These are stories about the Speedway. This first one is called the 1947 race. Race drivers died at a horrible rate in the 40s and 50s. Most of the drivers in the 54 500 were later killed racing. My first race was 1947. I was 9 and it was thrilling, and Shorty Cantlin died. He couldn't get his car started. It had 16 cylinders, but finally it got going, but he was way behind everybody else. The field came by, then Shorty, then the field, then Shorty, and so on. The car was number 24, orange, and was one of those old pre-war two-seaters, but the riding mechanics were no longer used. He wore a black shirt, and it blew in the breeze. The field, then Shorty, the field, Shorty, the field, no Shorty. The yellow light was on. There'd been a wreck. We couldn't see it, but we knew it was him in the first turn. I had this awful feeling. I was sick and struck numb at the same time. I knew it was him. I knew it. I had been rooting for him to catch up. Now gone. Now the announcer. It is with the deepest regret that we make the following announcement. My ears shut down. My whole being did. I didn't know death till now. I weepingly asked Dad if we could go home. He said, yes, sure. We walked to 16th Street and caught a cab. As we sat in the back seat, he put his arm around me and pulled my head to his chest. We'll be all right, he said, and so will Shorty. I Googled William Shorty Cantlin, and sure enough, there is a website which shows race drivers' graves. There in Detroit it was. William A. Cantlin. Rest in peace, dear brother, it said. My life changed when Shorty's life ended. This one is called the 1956 race. You'll see it's quite different. 16th Street was always wild, crazy, and drunken the night before the 500. In 1956, my senior year in high school, several guys from Tech who formed a club called the Slobs went out. We parked Duke Lowe's old car, a 1948 Chevy, in line to go into the infield of the track when the gates opened at 6 a.m. We got there about 3 p.m. and were still a mile from the gate and in the second row. No matter, we were there to drink and party. There was a short track across the street from the Speedway where small cars called midgets were raced all night long. Some of the 500 drivers raced there too, then went across the street to race in the big one. We had obtained from a tavern that would sell carry-out to minors, and we brought a quantity of cheap bourbon. Let the games begin. All of us were drunk by sundown. I actually got drunk and sobered up 3 times before the race. Somewhere along the lines of cars, a fight started. I had no idea what it was about. You know, drunks don't have to have some reason. Somehow we all got involved. I am not a fighter, but there we were. I pushed some guy and he turned around and slugged my friend Stan Dempsey. He hit Stan in the jaw so hard that his tooth cut clear through his jaw. You could stick your finger through it and do a finger wave through the side of the mouth. Stan did. 50 years later, you could still see the scar. The night went on. We saw the midget races and then went back to the car and got drunk again. We selected a driver to drive the car. to a good place in the infield. It was Junior Neerman. He was a very insane driver and, of course, drunk too. The bomb went off. We got in the car and on it and proceeded to ride with the madman to the best parking place we could race to. 70 miles an hour at dawn across the grass is an experience you could not endure sober. No problem. We found a place right on the fence where we could see the cars come off the second turn and all the way down the backstretch. Way to go, Junior. The race in those days started at 11 a.m. At least one more drink seemed appropriate. I crawled under a truck to get out of a light rain that was beginning to fall. It would pass quickly and the race would start on time. I passed out, and when I awoke, the truck was gone. My God, I could have been killed. I didn't even know. It must have been about 9 a.m. by then. I went back to the Chevy and laid down in the back seat. I awoke about 3 p.m. and the race was over. I never saw one race car. Pat Flaherty won. I always say that I went to the '56 race. Actually, I did. I just didn't see it.